What's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a wooden roller coaster survival house in Minecraft. Good job. This build actually has two houses. The first is at the bottom of the coaster and has all of your day-to-day essentials and quick use utilities that you might need in a pinch. However, there is a larger house, and the way that we get up there, you may have guessed it, is by roller coaster. And once the coaster finally gets us all the way up to our house, we can work our way inside and we will find a large survival themed interior that has enough room to house everything that you may need in a survival home. And once we are done with all of that, we may either take the coaster back down to the bottom or the water slide, which will plant us safely back right where we started. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you do and you're new around here, please do consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button, as that'll ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. Just before we start building, everybody, here are all of the materials that we are going to be using throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have enough of those materials and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make the build is an 85 by 41 block area on the ground, as represented by the white concrete rectangle. Do feel free to make this grid in your world if you do have a lack of space. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Please do make sure that you have all of that stuff. Make sure you got enough room to make it. Make sure you're ready to have an awesome roller coaster fun survival house. And once you are, we can begin. Step 1, my roller coaster survival house building friends. Come all the way over to the front left hand corner of your grid, if you've made the grid. We want to count to the right of this corner 40 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the idea. I've already marked out where I need to begin. This is the 40th block in the row. I thought I'd save us some time. Once you have reached the 40th block, I'm going to destroy it and replace it using a birchwood plank like this. I now want to place 4 birchwood stairs moving up and backwards. So I'm going to do it like this. Birchwood stair, an upside down one behind, birchwood stair, an upside down one behind, birchwood stair, an upside down one behind, and a final birchwood stair. So I want to have 4 birchwood stairs ascending like this. I'm going to take that 4th stair and place 12 birchwood planks behind it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm then going to extend across by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to copy what I have on that opposite side there. So I'm going to place all of these planks in the exact same fashion that I did over there. And additionally to that, I am also going to place the birchwood stairs. It's actually going to get a little bit tricky as I approach the ground, so I'm going to place this one first, and then the upside down one, and then I'm going to join it, just like that. There we go. What I now want to do is I want to make the stairs extend inwards an additional row on both sides. So I want to have double wide stairs on both sides. And I'm also going to place the upside down ones behind them as well. This is an additional detail, by the way. You don't actually even have to place the upside down ones behind, other than to actually place them. It makes it easier, that's all. We're then going to fill the platform in using birchwood planks. So this is going to be the base of our platform. you don't really want to fill in between the birchwood stairs yet. We're going to be adding all of the extra flair to the platforms and the rails a little bit later on. It's not just going to stay birchwood, don't worry. Okay, so coming to the back left-hand corner of the platform, which is here of course, I want you to place 3 rows of birchwood planks extending across. It's going to look like this. It's going to look like 1, 2, and then 3 rows of birchwood planks, right? Sat extending up from the platform. We now want to extend each of these rows on the left and right hand sides only forwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. And you want to do the same on this side too. We want to make these rows as high as that back row. And we are slowly but surely making the body of the house. What we also want to do is, of course, we want to connect the front side together. I was a little bit tentative to do this, because we do want to have some details for this house as well. But let's make the roof and then we can talk about additional details. The roof is very simple. It's a very classic roof. We place oak wood slabs on the upper sides on both the left and the right, so left and the right, unless you want the roof to go the other way, that's also valid. And we are going to extend the oak wood slabs inwards like this, or rather towards us, and then we are going to extend them upwards and inwards. If you do this on both sides at roughly the same sort of pace, you will find the apex. Eventually they'll kind of like join together, and then you just want to extend the middle one upwards like this. And you will then fill the little part here where you have a gap. You can transfer all of this to the back because the back is the same as the front. Believe it or not, the house for the roller coaster house is probably one of the lesser important things, especially not this house. This is kind of like what I would refer to as a decoy house. This isn't the main house, this is basically just a little survival related base. Like, this is where you keep all of the really important things that you want to use day to day when you don't feel like going all the way around your roller coaster. Yeah, I know. This house is actually like 2 houses. This is the smallest of the 2. So now what we want to do is we of course want to connect the front and back parts of the roofs together. We're going to extend the planks together. You'll be able to identify which blocks are planks by the fact that they are bigger than the others. And we also want to place oak wood slabs extending front to backwards like this. So on both sides, we run the roof the exact same way. It's my favourite kind of roof to make, as a matter of fact. I love that one so much. Okay, so this little house, we can make a few details here. So I like the idea of having a double door. It's just going to be on the right-hand side here, and it's going to be made out of oak doors. I want a double window, leaving 1 block's gap from the door. We're just going to have a 2x1 area of glass. If you want it to look fancier, you can place upside down stairs underneath the window of varying kinds. You can use birch, or you can use, I've accidentally destroyed part of the wall, or you can use oak planks, or oak stairs, or whatever you like. The point is, we now have a nice functional little house. Later on, we are actually going to be able to... Technically, you can get up to the other house this way, but the idea of this is that there is going to be a waterfall or a water slide leading from the upper house down to this lower house, and we'll kind of like enter it here, and you kind of like step down into the house, if you can imagine, but we'll tackle that later on, of course. But now that we have kind of settled the boarding platform, as we'll call it, kind of looks like a house with legs, the way that we've built it. Now that we've kind of like sorted out the boarding platform, we can now work our way onto actually making the rails themselves. So let's do it. So I want you to come all the way over to the front left-hand corner-ish of your platform. Basically, we are looking for the birchwood plank block here that is first connected to the first stair that also connects to the platform. That sounds confusing, but I'm sure that you guys know what I'm talking about. Well, we want to then, from this plank, count backwards 1, 2, so right here. And going left of this, we want to place 4 birch planks. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to take this plank and we are going to connect it down to the ground, to the left, diagonally. like so. So basically, just keep placing diagonal blocks until you eventually hit the ground. We are then going to dig 7 rows in the ground, extending left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you can fill all of these in using birch planks, and we're going to count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Now, from the 7th block, we want to do 9 up left diagonals. So essentially, we want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. We take the 9th and we go left by 1. We do an up left diagonal and we go left by 2. 1, 2. And then we are going to take this block and we are going to do a bottom left diagonal, go left 1, and then 6 bottom left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to take the 6th block and we want to go left 2, 1, 2. We then want to go in 1, left, in 2, 1, 2. And it's very important that we get this shape. It kind of reminds me of like the Wario symbol. Or maybe Mario, depending which way that you want to look. But we want to have this. What we are then going to do is we are going to take that very last block and we are going to do 9 up left diagonals. Now, up left meaning we want to go towards the back of the build. So we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just like that. We're going to take that 9th block and we are going to go left by 1, do an up left diagonal, and go left by 2, 1, 2. We're going to do an up left diagonal again and we are going to go left by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are then going to extend inwards and then backwards like this. So we kind of want to create kind of like a little bend almost, because we are going to be going in a different direction. We're going to be now extending across the back of the build, kind of like the same way that we started, and we're going to place 4 going left. 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to place 10 diagonals going down, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We extend this 10th block left by 2, 1, 2. And then we are going to start extending upwards again. We're going to do 8 up left diagonals. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. We then want to go left 1, do an up left diagonal, and then we want to go left by 2. 1, 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the track complete. Now, I just want you to make sure that your track does look like this one, because this is the last track portion of it on the left side of the build. Now that you have completed the track, we're going to make the platform for the upper house, and then we're going to connect both sides of the tracks together. So, what we're going to do is from this 3rd block here, and still coming across the build, we're going to do an upright diagonal, and we're going to go right of it by 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So you can imagine that that is going to be the body of our platform like that. And that row of 22, just visually speaking, should somewhat be in the middle of the house. So it should kind of like, the middle of the house should kind of like fit into the middle of the row, so to speak. Now that we have done that, however, ladies and gentlemen, and very well done for doing that, because this is a huge, hard part of the build complete. We are now going to go all the way back to where we first started, and we are going to make the opposite side of the coaster, because it is the same. The left side of the coaster is the same as the right side of the coaster, and I want to build it in the same way. So now we come all the way back to the start. We start on the exact same positioning as we did on the left side, so you can just follow this left side over to the right, and we are literally doing the same thing but mirrored. So we're going to take this virtual plank block here, same as the other side, and we're going to extend it outwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to place diagonal blocks extending it down to the ground. It only takes about 3 of them. We then want to destroy 7 blocks in the ground extending right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We take the 7th block and we place 9 up right diagonals extending from it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We then extend that 9th block to the right by 1, do an up right diagonal, extend it right by 2, 1, 2. We're then going to do a bottom right diagonal and go right by 1. Place 6 bottom right diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're then going to extend right by 2. 1, 2. We are then going to extend inwards 1. And then to the right by 1. And then inwards 2. 1, 2. We then want to take that second block and we want to place 9 up back diagonals from this block. So going towards the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like that. We're then going to extend right 1, place an up right diagonal, and go right by 2, 1, 2. Place an up right diagonal, go right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I then want you to extend inwards 1, and then towards you 1. And we are now going to start extending towards the inside of the build again, just as we did on the opposite side over there. And we're going to extend right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do 10 bottom right diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are then going to go right by 2, 1, 2. We're going to do 8 upper right diagonals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to go right 1. We're going to do an up right diagonal. And then we're going to go right by 2. 1, 2. Boom. And in doing that, if everything has been placed correctly, ladies and gentlemen, you should have connected back to the long platform row that we placed earlier. Just to give you a bit of a view of what we have, we should have a perfectly symmetrical set of rails. Once you have reached this point, ladies and gentlemen, we now get to make the house, and we get to then just add all of the fun finishing touches to the build. Let's do it. So, the platform is very, very important, as you guys know. We are going to begin by extending the platform towards us. We want to do this by leaving 2 blocks here on the left. We want to leave these alone, right? and then we want to extend the middle part of the platform towards us. So we leave 2 blocks alone, extend the middle part. And we want to do that again, so we want to extend this row, but leave 2 blocks off of the end and just extend it like this. I want you to extend the back part of the platform backwards by, we're going to start off with 8 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And all of these are going to be filled in and extended. This is going to act as the floor for the house. So this is going to basically be where all of the house is. It's all going to be encompassed in this platform, and we're just making it so that we don't fall directly to our doom as we enter the front door. So we're just going to start off with this sort of shape here, and then we can get building the house. The platform will have to be extended a little bit more later on, but we can sort that out in a second. So what we are going to do is we're going to start on the front left hand corner of this platform right here, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to count backwards 1, 2, go right by 1, and begin the build by extending 3 birchwood planks on top of this block. 1, 2, 3. Go to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend 1 block towards you. Go right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend inwards, and then to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend towards you, and to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend inwards, and to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to start extending backwards. We're going to extend backwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're then going to extend inwards, coming back across the build by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend towards you 1. To the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Towards you 1. To the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend inwards. And then to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then inwards again. And to the right by once again 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can extend this block both down to the ground, and you can also connect it to the front if you like. Now, the shape that we have made is kind of a weird one. It sort of reminds me actually of either one of the aliens from Space Invader or a flying saucer. Now, what's important about this shape is we want to extend all of the blocks that we just placed. We want to extend them all down to the ground using the birchwood planks. Now, when I say ground, I don't quite literally mean the ground, because if you were to do that on the back of the build, you'd have to extend down a very, very long way. We haven't made the platform big enough yet to accommodate the house. The reason that we didn't do that in the first place is because the house is kind of like a weird shape, and I kind of want to, contour the platform in such a way that it kind of accommodates the shape of the house. So I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second, but we're just going to focus on extending all of the house downwards by 2 rows. You only have to do it by 2. Most of the house will connect to the platform, but as I mentioned, some of it would hang off the back. So that's why we are just going to extend it down platform level, and then we're just going to add another part of the platform on top, and then we'll be good after that, really. So now that we filled all of these sides of the house in, all we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit more onto the platform, just underneath these parts, and we can even shape it a little bit more than this if you like, but we're just adding those parts here. If you want, you can make the platform a tad bigger, and we could even do it in the same way that we did it on the front. And the way that we did it on the front, just to remind you, is we extended the platform, we left 2 blocks off the end, and then we extended the platform towards us. So you leave 2 blocks off the end, and then you extended the platform towards us. If you want a larger part of the platform, you can, of course, like if you wanted to, you could like keep extending it backwards, but that would mean that you'd have to like alter the house in some sort of way. But if you did want a balcony or some sort of platform extending out the back of the house, then you're more than welcome to add it, of course. I'm not going to tell you what to do. So now that we have done this, ladies and gentlemen, I want to add some details to the house. I want to actually make it look like a house, believe it or not. So the front door, it's right in the middle of the house. It's literally like right dead center in the middle of the house like that. There are two windows. We have one here in the middle left and one here on the middle right part of the house. So like here and here, using a little bit of glass. If you want, we can accent the windows as well. Let me get rid of the doors because I don't think we even ever need them again. So I'm just going to grab some oak trap doors, and if you want, you can accent the windows using the trap doors. You always have the option of placing upside down stairs underneath the windows. Now this is a practice I do quite like doing on specifically these sorts of houses like this. You can use oak or you can use birch. Birch I actually prefer using, but it's completely up to you. We have two more windows. We have two on the left here, which we're not going to use trapdoors on. We're going to use a little bit of glass pane here and a little bit of glass pane here, just kind of like popping out the sides like this. Also on the back of the build, you can have the same thing if you want. So you can have like windows here on the back of the build the exact same way that you do on the front. You can have windows if you like. You can... You don't quite have the exact same windows on the back, so you'd have two sets of two double windows like this, but then you could on the back, if you want, just have like a single window and an oak trap door. That's probably what I would do to the back of the house, but of course, as always, you do you. Now that we have done that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to work on the roof of the house. So the roof of the house is a little bit tricky in a couple of different ways. So I'm going to grab oak wood slabs, right? And the roof is going to be long ways, like across the house. So what I mean by the roof is going to be long ways is that we aren't going to see like the apex of the roof from the front of the back of the house. It is on the sides. We're going to start off by placing oak wood slabs, very similar to what we did down there, by the way, extending across the front and back part of the roof like this. They want to extend across the tops of the actual walls of the house, and they want to extend one row over. We're then going to simply extend the oak slabs upwards and inwards, and they are going to create an apex right in the middle. So if you just extend both sides equally, you'll end up with this sort of shape. Of course, you're going to want to fill the little middle part in like that, and you can even preemptively do the same on here too, on this side. And let's make the other side of the roof as well. So we're just going to extend the oak slabs here and here. And then we extend up and inwards. You guys know how this works. Up and inwards until we eventually reach said apex here. And then here as well. Just like that. So we have both sides. The front part of the roof is actually a bit different. So the front of the house, I should say, not the front part of the roof, because it's going to get confusing if I keep messing that up. The front part of the roof, we want to have the front part of the house. My bad. We want to have two little mini roofs for these window areas of the house that have the oak trapdoor. So if you stick a birchwood plank above the birchwood plank that is central to the window, then you can place the same sort of roofing pattern that we started off with on the side. So you extend the slabs, both sides equally. It kind of looks like a weird Pokemon, actually. Like, this little individual part kind of looks like a little person or like a Pokemon or something. It's kind of weird. Anyway, you want to extend these slabs upwards and inwards until they eventually apex above where we placed the birch plank here. It will just line up there perfectly, just like right in the middle of the window. So you only have to have that singular birchwood plank because that is where the top pointy part of the roof will go. And then, basically, as you extend the roof inwards, you are just going to be cognizant of the fact that you've just got to join it to these little mini parts of the roof. So you can use the planks still, you just want to extend it around. So instead of extending the roof like across, just like in a straight line, you've just got to remember the fact that we've got to feed it into these two additional little roofs. So just kind of like this, right? And you don't have to keep that up for very long, but the inside of the two roofs will connect together above the entrance, by the way, just like that. If you wanted to, you could even kind of like alter above the entrance, kind of like this if you wanted to. I actually prefer it to have the gap just kind of like this, myself. And then we're going to, of course, extend this oak slab across left to right. And we're going to extend these blocks inwards like this. Here we are. So we're going to connect the sides of the roof to the middle part of the roof like this. And then when it comes to the back, it's actually quite simple. So we're just going to focus on connecting the planks left and right like that, with oak wood slabs like this, and then oak wood planks, and then oak wood slabs. And you'll see that we'll eventually get down to this little part of the roof. So what shall we do back here? On this part of the roof, you know what? We'll actually make the same sort of shape that we did on the front of the roof as well. We'll actually give this like a little, a little pyramid sort of shape as well. So we're going to take the middle part of the back of the house and we'll just, we'll give this it as well. Originally, I wasn't going to make it fancy in any sort of way, but I think it might be nice if we do just extend this backwards like this. And if it does just kind of like feed in, because quite oftentimes it's easy to make the backs of houses a little bit more boring than the fronts of houses because, you know, you don't pay attention to them as much. But if we do that, I think that that looks quite good. And another thing that we're going to do, by the way, is we are going to, we want to kind of like turn this birchwood plank part here. We kind of want to place like some like oak wood slabs kind of like across here. I don't quite know how to do it. I kind of want to like make this little roof here. I kind of just want to like place a row of oak wood slabs just like coming across the top like this a little bit, right? And then I want to destroy these birchwood planks, I think, and then turn these into oak planks. And I think that that'll be cool because then we have a couple of different height differences with the roof. It just looks a little bit more interesting that way, I feel like. But that's just how I feel. What I'm also going to do, I also think, is I'm going to extend the platform. I'm just going to extend this corner. I'm going to place a few birchwood planks in here just so that the platform kind of like builds and feeds around like this. And you'll see why I'm going to do that later on. But that's what the house will look like, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty much like a pretty nice, actually, wooden survival house that we have used for the express intent of keeping up in the sky, floating above everything else. Long story short, ladies and gentlemen, well done. We have completed both parts of the house. We have the small entrance house and we have the larger main living area complete, and we are now going to connect them together. They're already connected together with the rail system, but I also want to have the option of a water slide to join them together too. So the water slide is going to be positioned in such a way that where this front door is here, on the upper part of the house, follow it to the end of the platform, come underneath and place 7 birchwood planks extending down from this block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then extend that 7th block forwards, down, and then all we're going to do is connect this block here. We're going to extend it forwards, and funnily enough, if you did the same thing as me earlier where we placed this door, it will actually join to where that door is, and then you'll be able to just like walk out just like this. So we're going to extend the birchwood planks. We're actually just going to extend them 1 row either side, so on the left and on the right like this. That's perfect. And we are also going to add a trim to this. So when I say a trim, ladies and gentlemen, basically, you know how the entire rail system and all of the platforms and everything is kind of boring at the moment, right? I think that we can all admit that. But the reason it's boring is because we haven't yet added all of the oak wood planks and the stairs and stuff that is going to really turn this build into something cool. So I reckon that we're going to start all the way up at the top here. I want to start with the platform and then we can work our way and add a trim all the way around the rest of the area. So, what do I mean by a trim? The platform is going to have, the large platform, a row of oak wood slabs that goes all the way around the top of the birchwood planks. Now, it's not quite as simple as this, as you'll find out, but this is how we're going to keep things started. We're going to place oak wood slabs all the way around the top of the platform, And this is going to just make it look a little bit cooler. And again, it's not as simple as this. It is going to get a little bit more complicated. But do you see what a difference that makes? That looks way cooler. On the left side of the platform here, on this corner that we've created, I'm going to place an oak plank. I'm also going to leave a gap of 1 and place another one behind. This is where the rail connects, so I don't really want to have any gaps. I want to have the same on the opposite side here. So on this corner, oak plank, leave a gap, oak plank. I'm going to destroy where it connects. I want to have a trim for the waterfall, as I mentioned. So I'm going to destroy these oak slabs here. I'm going to raise the oak slabs up, left and right, using oak planks, and then I'm going to place oak planks extending down along these sides here of the track for the water slide, or the waterfall. You can call it what you like, really. And it's going to join it like this. So if you can imagine, we basically just want to give it 2 sides. The sides are going to make it so that you can't fall off, and of course it just looks better. But I kind of want everything to extend from the upper platform, so that's kind of like why we did that first. So doesn't that look cool? Like in relation to the rest of the build, that looks way better. We're going to place birch fence to connect to the middle drop part as well. So the birch fence is just going to be placed like this. And again, it's just adding layers and layers of detail now. So when it comes down to it, we also want the track to look cool. It's kind of important that the track does look cool. The way that I'm going to start off by making it look cool is I'm going to, similar to what I did with the water slide, place oak planks above and outside the entire birchwood plank skeleton of the track. I say the skeleton, so what I mean by the skeleton is all of the birchwood planks, because that's like the bare minimum for the track. We could get a nice functioning roller coaster right now, like all we have to do is slap some rails on it, and it's done. Like, the roller coaster will work, it will look fine, but it's not gonna look as good as if we place all of these oakwood planks. And the oakwood planks are just the start. Number 1, this is the top part. We have to also decorate the bottom in a way. We have to add struts, and we have to add supports to the roller coaster to make it look legitimate. Like, we can have all of this floating wood, and we could just have a track, just like I said, like with the floating wood, but it's not going to look as good. It's quite a tedious task as well doing all of this, as you may have noticed. So just kind of like placing on the outline is a big deal. And not only have we got to place it on like one side of the coaster, as you can see me doing now, but we're also going to have to do it on the other side of the coaster too. When I say the other side of the coaster as well, I mean quite literally, you know, we've got 2 sides to worry about, but we also have to do the outside as well. But luckily for us, it is the same strategy, it's the exact same methodology as what we do on both sides. So now, by the way, I want to point this out. Now that we've kind of added a trim, it already looks better, doesn't it? Like, when you see one side from the other, it already looks better. This trim actually wants to extend around the little mini house that we have at the bottom. It wants to connect to the water slide, and then you can actually just continue it along. So you can continue it along like this, and it can wrap around, and you can just continue building around onto the other side. The only important thing that you've got to remember is the fact that it is that you just basically make it higher than the birchwood planks. Like, no matter what, the oakwood planks are higher, because and the reason being, it's a very, very simple reason, because if not, then you would be able to, you'd be able to, you're like on the same level as the roller coaster. Like, if the oak planks aren't here, then it's almost as if like you've got like the feeling that you could just like fall off any moment. It just doesn't look quite good as well, is like the whole deal. Like, it's obviously not a big deal. I mean, the roller coaster's not massively high. It might kill you, but it's not like massively high in a lot of parts. And of course, this is Minecraft. It doesn't ultimately matter whether you do fall off the coaster or whether you have that feel, but the look of the outside, it does just look better if you do this, I think. So again, very, very tedious, and this isn't even like half of it. Literally, like, it might look as though that this is kind of like halfway done, but there is so much more that we have to do here. We're just going to continue extending all of this oak planks around, and I want to just show you. There we go. So there we are, and we are just going to join it like that. Perfect. So what we will end up with is this. Doesn't that look crazy in comparison? I love that. And now that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we have done it to that half of the track, we now have to go ahead and do it to the other half. And not just the other half. We have the stairs here to do as well at the lower part of the platform. So I think that we'll probably start here, work our way around, and we will end up in the exact same place again. So I'm going to place oak wood planks along the side of the stairs. And again, the oak wood planks wants to be higher than the rest of the stairs. And it is just going to worm its way around the track. It's very, very tedious to do. It does take a long time. There is another component to this after we have finished it, I am very, very sad to tell you. Although that is completely optional. But there's some cool things to add other than that. As I mentioned, there's supports. One of my favourite things about the roller coaster, actually, is the fact it actually looks as though it's possible that in some sort of weird alternate timeline that this roller coaster exists somewhere. I mean, the look of it I think is quite classic. It's not too mental. It does look as though it's like a roller coaster that is actually, you know, like functional and would actually be somewhere. And the reason for that, or at least I hope one of the reasons for that, is because it's got some like pretty cool drops. It's got a lot of like ascension. It looks as though it makes sense, but it's also got a lot of supports, and the supports make the roller coaster look really, really cool. Specifically, the ones that we are going to add on the front of the coaster, underneath the first ascension / descension. It's going to make it look really, really good. Like, it's basically what I would describe it as. It's going to look like a pyramid of spruce fence, and it looks like weird and oddly 3D as well, because we have to place a couple of rows. Eventually you'll get up to the top of your platform again, by the way, after extending from these stairs. We're going to hitch onto the platform using a plank, and then we're going to come onto the other side of the platform, which is here, destroy the slab, and then we are going to continue on our merry way using the oak wood planks. So we're going to have the supports, we're going to add a little bit of greenery, perhaps a little bit of decoration maybe to the houses and the platforms and stuff. And another thing that we're going to do, and this is where the completely optional part comes in. You might, maybe, want to add some stairs to your roller coaster in lieu of some of the planks. So specifically where the corners of the oak planks are now, as we like go up here, like wherever the oak planks say like go up and down in kind of like a stairs like fashion, we may find that you like stairs better, like these stairs add a little something that the oak planks don't. This is going to completely depend on your patience and whether or not you like it. We've started off with oak wood planks because it's easier to do so. I think it's much easier to actually, like, you start off with the full block of marble, which is what we're doing now, and then you chisel it out, rather than trying to just like start out with something, just trying to start out being way too detailed. I don't think that it'd work out so well. So we've almost connected all the way back to where we first started, just on the opposite side here. And this is looking insane. I actually kind of do like the chunky look of the coaster. I actually do quite like that. And again, it's going to be optional when we do get to it. We want to take the middle part in between the stairs here, and we kind of want to make a feature out of it. So I'm going to place oak wood planks in the middle of the stairs section here that is kind of equal to the oak wood planks that we have on the outside as well. So it's just going to kind of look like this, right? And then the planks are going to join together at the back, just like this. I'm going to make the bottom pair of oak planks, I'm going to turn it into oak slabs. Or I might even make it stairs here, because that actually looks a little bit better, I think. And later on, we're going to fill this up with something, like probably some leaves or something like that. But that's much more of a decorative thing. But you see, it does make it look a little bit cooler, I think. So what I now want to focus on is I want to focus on all of the supports for the rails as we go around. So there's only really like 3 different parts of the roller coaster that is actually supported. So the first part is here, like this big drop and climb. And it's quite easy to do this. We're going to take the middle block here of the oak wood planks, and we're going to join it down to the ground using spruce wood fence here, right? So just like, hang on, yeah, that connects down. Perfect. And we are going to extend the spruce wood fence outwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like this. So 8 on the left, and we're going to do 8 on the right as well. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like that. It wants to be even. So we extend both sides, left and right, we extend them outwards by 8, and then what we do is we slowly place rows of spruce wood fence on top of the base that we just made. And the spruce wood fence will eventually make kinda sorta mostly a pyramid. It's not quite perfect, but you just shrink it both sides until eventually you can shrink no more, and you'll just have these 2 spruce fence sticking out of the top. And it just looks really cool, or at least I think it does. You don't have to include this if you really don't want to, but you want to do this on both sides as well, and it just looks like a really, really cool set of supports for this big like drop and fall, especially considering the fact that it's like the first drop and fall as well. So here, it's a little bit tricky to place them sometimes, and you just want to have the same thing on the back. Since I figure it probably doesn't make too much sense just to have like the supports on the front, like you'd want to have it on the opposite side of the coaster as well. So like here, and we just want to build it up like a pyramid. And then like when you look at it, like from the front, I mean, you kind of almost get this like illusion, like you're like, is there more than 1 row, or did I place 2? Like when you've done it, like, yeah, you kind of like, is there more than 1 there? And then like when you go to the side, you can actually see, like, it just looks cool. And that's what you want to do for that first part of the coaster. So now that we have added that huge pyramid of support, what we are now going to do is just slink over here, just to the left of the support. So we're going to take this corner of the roller coaster, and we are just going to extend some spruce fence down from this corner, and we're just kind of going to create like a trio of spruce fence. So I don't just want 1 spruce fence like extending down from this corner, but I kind of want it to support like in a little cone sort of. And we want the same on this side too, so kind of like we just want to place the fence, and then we just want to have it like extend and curl inwards a bit, just because it just looks a little bit better this way, I think. So just a little bit like that. I think that looks pretty good. As we work our way up to the top of the coaster here, I figured that we would have a similar sort of formation in this corner too. So if we start off with this corner, then we're just going to place the spruce fence working its way down. Now, this is a little bit trickier just because I have trouble placing fence. I don't know what to say. And we've just got to join it down to the ground like that. And then I'm going to place 2 rows of spruce fence again, just kind of like extending it out a little bit just because I think it looks a little bit better. And then I'm not really too concerned about the rest of it because I think that's all like the major parts, like that's all joined. This V part is kind of like connected to the platform, and the platform is going to be connected down. I did toy with the idea of connecting the V part here. Like, I did toy with the idea of making like a little bit of a pyramid, like 2 like feet, sort of like this, or connected to the oak planks, but I actually scrapped that idea because I don't think, number one, I don't think it was necessary, and number two, I think it looked a little bit weird. But now that we've done that to this side, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're going to come over to this side and do it as well. So where do we start? We start in the same place as we did on the opposite side. We take the middle part of the oak plank here and we join it down to the ground. Probably the hardest part, because as I mentioned, I do have, for whatever reason, I'm on the fence about it, have trouble extending fence down like this. We'll extend it left and right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. We'll do the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we just build up rows and rows and rows, just leaving one off each side like this, until eventually we have a little pyramid, to which we will then also do to the opposite side as well, just because it looks a little bit cooler. As I mentioned earlier, actually, I don't quite like just having one row of spruce fence, because it almost looks lonely in a certain way. I actually quite like there being a double row, so that looks good, and we're going to apply the same thing here, of course. Now, I don't have to extend it down from the middle on this side, because I can just use this side that I've already done just to like kind of copy it. So that is the good saving grace of the fact that we have to do it twice, is the fact that it's actually easier to do it the second time, just because we have the first time to work off of. So let's build up all of this just on top, eventually reaching the middle point, which will be here, and then it just joins directly upwards. So let's just see like what of a difference it makes. There we go. I'm loving it. That looks great. And then we take this corner here as well. So this is the bend. We start off by just taking this corner, and then we extend it out just on both sides. We come to the inside part as well. We just join this down like here, and also here. Just like, actually, no, we extend this inwards, my bad. So we extend it here and here. There we are. That looks way better. Looking good. And then we do the same all the way up at the top here. So we're just going to join this down in kind of like in the same sort of way. I'm not sure if I did it on the other side as well. Did I do both inside corners? Because I'll show you what I mean. I've got a bad feeling, for whatever reason, that on this side, and by the way, we've also got to, what way do we extend it? We extend it here. Right, so here, and this is just the corner. So here as well, like that. But I did also kind of mean to, and again, I don't know whether I even like this as much, but I kind of want to extend these down as well. I think that that might look a little bit better. I actually don't think I did it on the other side, which is a mistake, but luckily, because we've had to do it again, I feel as though that we can rectify that, can't we? So let's add both of these inside parts kind of simultaneously. So it would be this row and then this row, and I guess that we can even compare them too, can't we? Because now we actually have both parts. So like we have that. I actually do like that. That does look quite supportive. And then we've got this side here where we only have the one. I do prefer that. I think that that does look better. So on this side as well, my bad. I didn't do it the first time. I just didn't do it properly. My bad. We're gonna apply the same thing, and that'll actually be all of the spruce fence supports done. We are, however, going to be adding, there's actually just two more supports in total, but they're really easy to do. So we've got the spruce fence here, and then it curves inwards. And what's good about the spruce, by the way, is it contrasts very well against the other blocks, but not too much, which is important. So we've got this here too, destroy that. And what will we have? What do we have in the end? Yeah, that's looking nice. Perfect. So that is all the supports, and I think that that's just enough. You can add them, I guess, to that part as well. Wouldn't recommend it. On the back part of the housing area here, I'm going to say that I would take the outer back corners, the two oak wood slab parts here, and I would basically just join them both down to the ground using oak planks. So instead of it just kind of like floating, just have 2 rows of oak planks. It looks, in my opinion, better. Is it necessary? No, because Minecraft defies physics. but I think it looks better. Try and make it look fancier if you like. I didn't like it. When I say fancier, I'll show you what I mean. So when I say fancier, I did try and turn like half of the like leg into like spruce. I tried a little bit fat. It just doesn't look good in my opinion. You're better off. I think it looks good if you do this, and then it just seems to make a little bit more sense. Just those two very simple changes. That's all you got to do. Very, very simple. Now that we've done that, ladies and gents, the next thing that we're going to do, we're just going to make the outside of the houses look a little bit better. We're going to add the rails, and then I'm going to show you the change that you can make if you like, because again, it is completely up to you. So the changes that the things that you would need, if you wanted them, some oak trapdoors, or any kind of trapdoors as a matter of fact. We're going to need water to close this out as well. We have some oak leaves. We might need some oak wood slabs too, but we also need some dirt or grass if you have access to grass. Grass is actually a little bit better. And then you will also need some flowers of choice. I always use poppies because, well, they're my faves. So the first little bit of niceness that we're adding is going to be some oak leaves in between this area here, just at the bottom of the stairs. I just like having some oak leaves, just a little bit of colour. And you can even make the oak leaves as high as the oak planks if you want. And you can even use some stairs so that the oak leaves kind of like pop out a little bit more. And this is also what we can use the slabs for as well. So like around the top we can just have it so that it's at like a little bit of a different level from everywhere else. It almost looks like we've given the stairs a little bit of a mohawk, kind of. It's also worth mentioning really that we should fill in between the oak planks at the bottom here. We really should add birchwood planks into the ground too, because I think that just makes it look a little bit cleaner. Also, of course, we're going to add a little bit of greenery just to the house. So underneath the window here, I'm going to add a couple of grass blocks. I'm going to place some oak trapdoors just around. And then poppies, just to make it pop a little bit more. Haha, pop with the poppies. And we are going to come all the way up to the top here as well. And we're going to do the same sort of thing. So we'll actually have a couple of grass blocks just underneath these windows on the left and right side like this. You could even have them here if you wanted to. It depends how crazy you want to get, but I'm not having them on the middle. And then you can add your poppies and you can add your trapdoors. Birch trapdoors also look good, by the way. I had a feeling that you wouldn't do that. Birch trap... Strike 2! Birch trapdoors also look good, by the way, so, you know, that's something to think about. You could even have it so that the grass blocks, like, extend all the way across, and then you had the oak trapdoors, like, all the way. So, like, whichever design you kind of prefer. I sort of prefer the kind of like the middle box, sort of. I feel as though it frames the shape a little bit more. I feel as though that if you have the grass extend fully across, it almost takes away from kind of like the shape of the building, the depth of the building. I'm going to place some oak leaves all the way around the side of the house. So this is why I actually made the platform a bit wider earlier. I'm just going to have oak leaves just sit on the platform like this. So the oak leaves are actually going to come forward and they're going to extend a little bit like this. It adds some green to the house. It breaks up the colour. If you wanted to, you still are able to add some fence around here, but I almost feel as though it may be a bit irrelevant because we already have the leaves. So you can do whichever one you like, really. And what else do we have to do? Well, the next thing that we have to do is we have to add the water here. So water is going to flow right here from the top of the waterfall. You can start off just by adding 3 water buckets, and perfect. It actually nails it. So what we can do now is just jump in the water, and we can slowly ascend our way down into the little mini house, and you can expedite that process if you want. So, and you will find that the water, by the way, it doesn't come far enough to actually cause any problems. And on top of that, even if this door was here, I don't think that it would anyway. I think it actually runs out. Might be wrong about that. Don't hold me to it, but that is what we have in terms of niceness. Like that's just like a nice, cool bit of extra, like it does just really make a difference, right? And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Functionally speaking, we have completed the entire house. We're missing the rails, of course, but there's a good reason that we haven't placed the rails yet, and this is all due to whether or not you want to go through this process. If you like, you can use birchwood stairs, oakwood slabs, oakwood planks, and birchwood planks to make your rails look a little bit sleeker in design. I'll show you what I mean. So, let's start off here at the left side of the rails. So this is where the journey would start. All the way up here, it takes you all the way up to the top. Begin by placing, if you like, this isn't necessary. If you're happy with this, I do want to say this one more time. Just place the rails on the birchwood planks and you're all good. But if you want it looking a little bit different, you can place upside down birchwood stairs underneath the birchwood planks that we have, which will then allow you to place upside down oakwood stairs underneath the oakwood parts like this, right? But then what you would do is you would destroy the oakwood planks surrounding the stairs like this, and then you would place oakwood stairs instead. So just to show you the difference, it looks sleeker in a way. It looks less chunky. So just let's do this on this opposite side as well. So we know where the birchwood stairs are. We place upside down oakwood stairs underneath. We chunk out all of the oakwood planks above like this, and then you place oak stairs like that. And you can decide, I mean, there's two different sides to compare. You can see which one you like more. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually quite like the chunky version of the coaster, so this really isn't necessary. But not only would you do that, I'd also suggest making a couple changes like this. So like where the track hits the ground on this part of the coaster, place some oak slabs instead. That'll mean adding some more oakwood stairs in, by the way, just so that it feeds in a little bit better. We can do this on the opposite side. If you are going to do this, the first thing that you're going to want to do is add upside down birchwood stairs. You're going to want to add the upside down birchwood stairs everywhere before you try and change all of the oakwood, otherwise it's quite easy to get into a mess. I'm not going to explain why, although I can, okay? I'll explain a little bit later on down, but I've already placed the birchwood. But in placing the birchwood, then you are able to see where the oakwood stairs go. So we place the upside down oakwood stairs just underneath these parts, just like this, hitting all the way up at the top, just like so. And then you've got to take that top layer of plank off, because otherwise it's gonna look weird. Like it looks too chunky almost. It doesn't look quite good. So we just take off this top layer of planks here. Just like this, coming all the way. It's quite a delicate process, hence why that you've really got to like it to go through all of this. It is quite a delicate process, so we go all the way down here as well. And it does involve rebuilding some parts of the track, as you might have seen. Up at the top here, we're going to have to place the oak fence here as well. And then we're going to have to place the oak planks above, just like this. Or maybe what we do is we destroy, yeah, I guess that we can't. I guess it's upside down stairs like this, planks, and then we could shrink it a little bit like this, and then because it just looked a little bit too chunky, so it's going to take quite a lot of work to do it, hence why I'm slightly trying to put you off it a little bit, unless you really like how this looks. So to do this other side, we take all of the top layer off of the oak plank. Well, actually first, we place the upside down oakwood stairs, forgetting my own process here. All of the upside down oakwood stairs, we come all the way up to the top, and all the way down like this. Here we go. All the way down to the bottom, and then we take the top layer of oak planks off. And well, I say the top layer, we pretty much remove all oak wood planks mostly. We'll take all of this top level off as well. You don't want to completely destroy all of them because we do need some of them, as you may have seen, but like this, that's already a stair, and then we can replace them coming up these sides here. So like here, for instance, like oh, we just accidentally destroyed a plank. That's why that looked a little bit weird. So coming all the way up the sides, we place the oak stairs. At the top here, we want to have a stair, and then another one on the side, and then again coming down and down and down and down like this. So just to compare them again, I mean, that looks cool. It makes the area underneath a little bit more defined as well, like it does quite a few different things. So you can compare the left and the right side of the coaster, yeah? It might not make that much of a big difference to you. It's up to you. So here's what I said earlier. What I said was, I would highly recommend doing the birchwood stairs first always. Because if you start trying to like place oak stairs and stuff, it's easy to accidentally replace blocks that you shouldn't. If you place the birchwood stairs in the first place and then the oakwood stairs, it's just an easy way to keep track. Keep track with the whole process. So if you place the stairs, like I say, and then you place and then you know whether it looks right or not to place the oakwood stairs in the particular parts that you were going to place them, just like this. It's looking alright, and then you destroy the top layer. Like, I'd always do it in this way because, as I mentioned, I have done it, I've tried to do it the other way around where I start off with like the oak wood, but you're just making a little bit of a mess for yourself, really. And this is a part really, like on this ascension here, where it gets a bit tricky. Like, you've kind of got to feel it out using your oak wood stairs, like where you destroy, where you don't destroy. I think that we've actually done quite well there. Do we destroy one further? Again, like this is the questions that you have. Like, yeah, there we go. That looks okay. And then we just want to copy it onto this side as well, of course. So we've got to place all of the oak stairs. Like, it's almost as if we're redoing the track again, but it's not quite as bad because we do actually have like a guideline for the track too. So like, if we would have tried to have done this with stairs in the first place, it would have been absolute insanity. So that's why we're doing this after the fact. So we destroyed here, didn't we? There we go. And then we can place all of them just riding up, just like this. Here, here, and here. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And we're a bit far away to compare it, but you might be able to see, again, it just looks a little bit more streamlined. That's all. It just makes the roller coaster look a little bit fancier. So let's continue on, shall we? We have a drop here. We don't have to do the corners or anything. It's always where the drops and the rises are. So wherever you've got a climb, wherever you've got a rise, that's basically like that's basically where all of this is going to get done. And then this would connect to the platform like this. And we come all the way down. This is a long stretch of track to actually do. Like, this is the V part of the coaster, like here. And yeah, we actually have a decision to make there too. So this is where you've got to like just put some thought into it. I'll show you why. I'll show you what I mean by that in a mo. So place all of that. And then let's do the other side as well. So like let's do it simultaneously. So we'll place all of this, and then we'll take the top layer off, and then we'll place all the stairs, and then I'll show you how we've got to alter things a little bit. So here, and then here, and here. No, we don't. You could actually place that there. It didn't really make much of a difference though. So now that we've got this, it's looking a little weird. We take all of the top layer off. Just like this, coming all the way down. It's a little bit sad. It's really sad to actually do this because I mean, we put so much work into it. But this is what you've got to do if you really want it to look this specific way. So yeah, I guess that that's okay. And let's try this. So we place this coming down like this all the way down here, and then we don't go any further. Actually, as a matter of fact, I actually know what I did on the original version. I actually made this point a little bit, this part a bit pointier, right? So the track runs along here just like in a row of 3. You can't have, it can't come down to like a, you can't do this with the track, right? Because it doesn't work. You can't have this because the track, it won't go down and go back up immediately. So the track has to be a 3, but I think I artificially added in like another oak plank part here, like this, so that we could get a pointier look for this part of the track. So what we can then do is we can place the stairs like this, and we get a really cool looking V shape, but the track is actually the same, and then that allows us to place the upside down stairs just like this, and what we would then do is just add upside down birchwood stairs just like that. There we go. So that's the only reason that you would modify that part of the track is if you wanted to get like the cool looking V, because it looks a little bit weird otherwise. So let's do it to the other half as well now, right? So let's destroy all of the oak wood planks, and then we can add all of these stairs. So like this, and that is also going to go to here. And here, this would actually look cool. I'm making this, and I'm like, this would actually look cool in concrete. I bet you can make a really cool roller coaster. So we can place all of these, and it'd be easier too. So all of this all the way down here, and then eventually it comes down to here, and we place the upside down stairs on both sides like this, and then we just ride the way back up. I can't wait to see the difference between this side and the other side, by the way. So here, that's looking really, really cool, and like that is the example of why I like this. I think looks a bit cooler than that side. Like, I'm really not sure, and that's, by the way, that's like perfect. That's half of the roller coaster like done in this way, in the fancy way, and that's that half of the roller coaster kind of like left in like, you know, like the chunky sort of fashion. So I really, really like it. I like both sides, honestly. It really does just depend which side you like a little bit more. But just to kind of like show you, so this is this part of the V, like this is the left, the fancy side. And then this is the right side. There's really not too much of a difference. Like, it just does, it's just a very, very subtle change, you know? It's, I don't know. It's completely up to you whether you want to do that or not. Just for the sake of finishing this part of the video, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to leave I don't want like one half of the slide to look different from the other half of the slide. I am going to finish it off, but I'm actually not going to do it on recording, because if you do want to do that, then you guys know how to do it. I've showed you how to do literally half of the slide. If you want the detailed part of it, then, you know, you can do exactly that. We've managed to do it to one half. I'm sure you'll manage to do it to the other half. But if you want to keep it chunky, then, I mean, you've probably already clicked off anyway. So let me just do exactly that to the other half of the roller coaster. Bump. So this is what your roller coaster will look like if you do decide to add those final details all the way around the track, which is a very tedious and tumultuous task, honestly. It's very, very lengthy, but it might be worth it for you if you really like it. So that's all of the oak planks, all of the birch planks, all of them replaced with oak stairs and some birch stairs, and even on the front part of the tracks here where the actual rails like hit the ground, you can see the oak slabs added in there too. Now, once that's done, ladies and gentlemen, what are we going to do? We have to add the rails. That's the one thing that we're missing from the actual roller coaster, is we need the rails. How have we waited this long to add them? So it's pretty self-explanatory, but here it goes. You basically add rails. I'm using unpowered ones. If you want powered rails, you can add them. That's completely up to you. But just regular old rails going all the way down, all the way along the birch planks, that'll do it. That will do it. The only bad thing about having to use regular rails, of course, is the fact that you've got to, you know, like keep moving manually. So, you know, not a great deal of fun, but it is kind of still sort of fun though. So we have the rails, they come all the way, they start all the way down there, they come all the way up here, the rails can come here, or you can add like a little stopper. I quite like the idea of the rails just kind of like just connecting like this, and we come all the way across this other side, and we're just going to have the rails come all the way down. And as you'll see, it's all going to be fully functional. We're going to take a ride the coaster once we've added the rails, and there will only be, once these rails have been added, there will only be one thing left to do with your house once we have, or houses. It's technically 2 houses, right? I know it's almost like a bit of survival base if you kind of if you use the word base like loosely, like you know, because we've got like two parts of the house. It's not just like one house, is it? But there we go. We've added all of the rails. That was so satisfying. And well, honestly, we've got to try it out just before we move on to this next bit. Let's try it out, right? Here we go. We have our minecart. Let's hop in and enjoy the ride. So we start all the way over on this left side here. We have quite a steep climb for this first part, but then we get to enjoy going down here. And then we have a really, really heavy climb. And we go all the way up to the top. But this next part is my favorite, ladies and gentlemen. I love this next part. So this is a really, really steep drop, but with the drop comes a really, really quick high, and it's really quite fun. It's quite a fun roller coaster to ride, even without the powered rails. It all works perfectly. And then of course to get down, we could go down this way if we wanted to. We could go down that way. We can jump off here, or we could even make a tactical leap off the back of the platform if we wanted to. But yeah, that's all of the transportation done. The whole structure of this place is complete. The one last thing is, just before this tutorial finishes, I want to show you inside both parts of the houses, just to give you a bit of inspiration for how you might yourself want to decorate them. So this is the lower entry house. This is the first building that you come into contact with. I like the idea of it being a nice, quick, survival-themed house. So basically all of the immediate important things: crafting table, furnaces, armor stand, and some beds as well, just for utility. So all of the simple stuff that you need day to day. And of course this is also how we could get up or down to the big boy. Look at that. That's crazy. I feel like one of those salmon that swims up the river like against the current. Now, if we head into the main house, you can see that this is a bit more specialized. On the left, we have an extensive enchanting library, enhancement area, brewing area, some really nice armor. The middle of the house features more beds, a much more precise and specialized crafting area, smelting area, cutting area. We have a Neverwart farm here. We have more armor, more crafting, more of everything. This part of the house, the main house, is where you're supposed to keep all of the important and more specialized stuff. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you are new around here. If you have subscribed, click that little bell next to the subscription button, as that will ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. And if you do want to make anything else by me, please check out the card system and the description below, and maybe even the top of the comment section for some awesome survival or modern or city related builds. I do it all on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.